Hey, it's Lloyd, and I know I haven't been around lately doing videos. I've been cooking. Lloyd cooks, so I've been cooking, but I really haven't been cooking anything that I said, I really should do a video of this. And then I just said, I felt the need to make a video and connect with you guys again. And I was trying to think of what to do. And as you know, I've been playing around with bread, and I've been getting more and more successful. I'm playing around with sourdough and making the sourdough starter and all that stuff, and that's coming along really well. But I wanted something that was quicker. I have my long formation that's like 18 hours. The sourdough, again, that could take like 24 hours of between all the different things you're doing. Even a basic bread, you're talking about maybe 3-4 hours. And I came across this bread. It's not a secret. It's soda bread, sometimes called Irish soda bread. And I was very intrigued about this. From start to finish, less than an hour, about an hour, all right? From start to finish, from beginning to it kind of going into your mouth, having a finished product. So that was really interesting. Also with this, what I like about it, no yeast, no rising, no waiting at all for that kind of stuff. And only really 4 basic ingredients. And most of them you already have. There is one specialty thing that we'll talk about, but let's talk about just what you need, all right, to do this. All right, so you're gonna need flour. Now here's the great thing. You don't need bread flour to make this. That's all you need is all-purpose flour. The Irish soda bread is a peasant bread. It's the bread of the poor. It's the bread that, because, not everyone had eggs, not everybody had yeast, none of that stuff. So they had to think of how to make bread without those things, the really poor people. And they came up with this, and, now it's like, ooh, but before it just used to be like a peasant bread kind of a thing. All right, so you're gonna need all-purpose flour. All right, you're going to need baking soda, okay? Not baking powder, all right? Baking soda, all right? Now you can get it, they come in cans, all right? I go big, what can I tell you? But baking soda, all right? You're gonna need salt, not kosher salt, but table salt. I happen to have here sea salt. It is iodized, you don't have to use iodized. Some people say don't use iodized, it does weird things to the bread. I haven't found that to be so, but this is what I got. And of course, in the day of self-isolating and trying to stay away from the supermarkets and all that as much as possible, I'm using kind of what I have. So, that, all right? So again, flour, baking soda, that's 2. Salt, that's 3. And the last thing, and this is the funky part, that you probably don't have and you'll need to go and get it, buttermilk. All right, why buttermilk? Can't I use regular buttermilk? Well, everything I'm reading and I'm being told is like, no, you can't. That there's certain amount of bacteria and cultures and everything that are contained in buttermilk that are not in regular milk, that interact with the baking soda that gets you the rise you need and all that. So you need the buttermilk. So in the beginning, I did go and I bought buttermilk. And what I found was, so I'd used the buttermilk that I needed for this recipe. Now I have this buttermilk left over. What do you do with buttermilk? Most people call buttermilk, I'm one of those weird people. I was involved with Weight Watchers back in the 80s or so, 90s, and buttermilk was one of their magic foods that they had you eat. Supposedly, as you're losing weight and you got all this loose skin, buttermilk does something magical and helps your skin to tighten up so you don't have those loose, flabby things. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they told us back in the day. And so all of us on Weight Watchers, we were drinking buttermilk. I just like it. What can I tell you? But you don't taste the buttermilk in the bread, so don't get all freaked out about that. But it has that enzyme-y kind of action. All right, so need that buttermilk. Now, here's the thing though. Like I said, you know, who's going to go running to the store every time you want to make this and you need buttermilk? You know? So here's something I found. Buttermilk comes in a powder form. So it has almost endless shelf life, right? And it has the enzymes and all the bacteria stuff within it still to do what it needs to do with your baking soda and all that. So I went and I ordered Amazon, and I got, it doesn't cost a lot, all right? And I got this buttermilk, all right? So the recipe itself calls for 1.5 cups of buttermilk, all right? About 3 tablespoons makes to 7.5 ounces a cup of water, all right? So within this recipe, I'm going to be using this. If you have buttermilk or you go to get buttermilk, you're just going to measure out 1.5 cups. If you're not and you want to go the powder route, all right, you're going to measure out 1.5 cups of water to go to equal amount of the buttermilk, but 3 tablespoons of powder makes 1 cup of buttermilk. All right, so if I need 1.5, I need 4.5 tablespoons of this. All right, so that's we have that. So are you ready to make Irish soda bread? All right, let's get started. All right, so we're getting ready now. We're going to make our Irish soda bread. All right, so you start off by taking all your dry ingredients and putting them into a bowl. All right, so let's get going with that. I need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. So let's get my 3.5. There we go. Let's get my 3.5 cups. 1, 2, 3, 1.5 cups of my flour. Doing a lot of banging. Why? All right. I need my baking soda. And what I'm going to need is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So we'll put in 1 teaspoon. Here we go. 1 teaspoon baking soda into the bowl. All right, 1 tablespoon. No, I'm sorry. 2.5 teaspoons. Have I been saying tablespoons? Yeah. All right. 2.5 teaspoons of table salt. 2.5 teaspoons. So there's going to be 1. 2. 1.5 teaspoons of table salt. Let me say it one more time. 2.5 teaspoons table salt. All right, and then then buttermilk. So here's the thing. If I was using the liquid buttermilk, actual buttermilk, all right, I would go and mix all these dry ingredients first, get them nicely mixed up together, and then I would pour in the buttermilk. But since I am using the powder, we consider this a dry ingredient. So as I said, I needed 4.5 tablespoons in order to make 1.5 cups. So 4.5. So I'm going to take 4.5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.5. You know, I think if you put in 5, the world wouldn't come to an end, right? But about 4.5. All right. And I need to add, I need to mix this. So let me introduce you to one of my new friends. I've been seeing this on Facebook and advertised, and I kind of looked into it and read the reviews. This is called a Danish whisk. All right. It's been getting a lot of hype to mix like batters and even doughs and everything like that. And you know me and my gadgets, so I went, so Amazon's my friend, I ordered it. I gotta tell you something. This is more and more becoming my go-to tool when mixing batters and you know, anything that, whether it's a thick batter or a loose batter, this thing, but especially with the thick batter kind of stuff, it's worth it, I'm telling you. I'm endorsing this. So anyway, you use this and you kind of mix this all in together. Get it as well incorporated as you can. You know, especially like with the salt and everything, you want the salt to be as nicely incorporated. But this whisk moves through everything so easily. It mixes it, and yet you don't, with the wire whisk, and you get things caught in the wires, and especially as you start adding liquid, you don't have that problem with this. It's just really a nice tool. I like it. All right, so I got that, and so now I need to add my liquid. I need to add to this 1.5 cups of liquid. All right, so we're going to add the liquid, and it's just 1.5 cups of water. It doesn't have to be room temperature water. It could be cold water, because if you're adding buttermilk, you'd be pouring it in there. Although I took this out of my tap, and it's it's like 100 and something degrees, I think, out there. Anyway, that's all we can get right now out of our taps is warm to hot water. There's no such thing as cold water coming out of our taps this time of the year. Anyway, simple. You know, you just start. You take the water and you pour it on in and start to mix. You know, now if you don't have a Danish whisk, yeah, you can use a spoon. Don't use a regular whisk, but if you got a good wooden spoon or something, yeah, that'll do the trick too. You know. At any rate, so you kind of just take this and you start pulling it together until kind of you want to get this all incorporated well together. All right. Now here's the thing. The whisk, just like a spoon or anything else, it's going to get you so far with this particular thing. Because you are going to have to get in there with your hands. So I guess I didn't warn you about that, did I? This is a very wet, sticky kind of a dough. So we're going to turn it out onto a slightly floured surface, and then we're going to bring it together, and we're going to knead it for about 5 minutes. So, and take your flour, put some on out here on my counter. Once we kind of get, but I don't know if you could see this, but with my Danish whisk, you can see how it just kind of comes out. It works everything so well, because it really allows you to dig in and start incorporating everything right into this dough. So once everything's kind of gotten in there, and it's as far as you're going to really get it with your whisk or your spoon or whatever you're using, it's time to bring this baby out. All right, and this is where having one of those silicone scrapers is really handy dandy. All right, so talking about this baby. All right, because this is going to allow you to kind of take it and kind of just get it all out. But it's coming out pretty easy, actually. All right, so I got that. And so once we have that, we're just going to get in there with our hands. Like I said, this is going to get sticky. But you want to get everything incorporated, and you want to knead it until it forms a nice smooth ball. Don't do this in your KitchenAid. It's not worth dirtying it with or anything like that. Just go ahead and put it out on your counter and keep on going. Every once in a while you may have to grab a little more flour, but you want to kind of keep this going here. Like I said, for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to keep doing this for about 5 minutes. See, sticky, icky. All right, every once in a while, just grab a little more flour, put it on top. All right, it helps it to let go of your hands a little bit. If it starts to stick a little bit to the surface here, wow, this stuff's flying everywhere. Keep your scraper handle handy. All right, so if it has a curved side, that's great for scraping stuff out of the bowl, but it has this nice flat side. This allows you to kind of get under things as you're kind of kneading it, if it's getting stuck, so that you can do it. But you do want to knead. Now, remember, kneading this, you just kind of grab it, you hold the back end with the palm, you push it out, you bring it back over, give it a slight turn, and just keep on going. Okay, and again, you're going to do this, I'm going to say for maybe about 5 minutes. So I'm going to do this for a little bit longer is what I was trying to say. And then we will have still a fairly sticky dough. All right, so it's going to get messy, folks, but that's part of the fun, to tell you the truth. All right, so I'll see you in a couple of minutes. I'm already done. I don't know, probably about 2-3 minutes here, 2 minutes of it. So I got a few more minutes left. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, so it's been just a couple more minutes, say maybe about 3 more minutes that I've been doing this. And so you could see now I've got this great, and what I like doing is you want to form it into a nice a ball. Okay, so there it is, a nice ball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it onto my pan. Now, I've discovered also these silicone liners. These are like amazing, magical things, all right? If you don't have this, parchment paper is fine. But if you can find some of this, I figured You know, it's reusable, you wash it, so I'm throwing less stuff away, so I'm kind of being nice to my planet. That's my rationale. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna take it, before I put it on there, you wanna take just a little bit more flour, and you wanna kind of sprinkle it on top there. Okay, and you put it on your pan, nice, round. Okay, now, I'm going to go ahead and cut this into fourths. So half and half with a nice sharp knife. All right. You do really want a nice sharp knife. All right, so why do you cut it? I don't know, to be honest. Can I leave it just whole and bake it? Maybe, I don't know. But every single recipe that I see where they're making soda bread, they're doing this, and there must be a good logical reason. Maybe if I didn't, the inside wouldn't get cooked enough. I don't know. But at any rate, this is what you do. So you make a slit with a nice sharp knife and kind of go down almost all the way down through it. See, it's still pretty sticky in there. All right. So I got it going that way, and now I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to cut it. So I go through this way. Again, not all the way through, but just about all the way to the outside there. Okay. Done. My oven has been heating up to 425 degrees. All right, I recommend, and I'm sorry I didn't say this way in the beginning, but I recommend when you first start to get ready to make this, put that oven on, get it up to 425, make sure it gets there, give it time to really get there. So if you have to set your oven even a half hour, 45 minutes before you're actually getting ready to make this, go ahead. But it's ready to go in the oven. So as you can see, how long did it take me to mix my ingredients? About 5 minutes worth of kneading. Once I got everything incorporated, including my liquid, 5 minutes of kneading, form it into a ball, put it here, cut it, boom, done. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into my oven, and it cooks for about 30 minutes, but at around the 25-minute point, take a look. You want it to be a nice golden, almost a little bit darkish kind of brown, but you don't want to burn this baby, right? Anyway, I'm going to put it in. I'm going to let it go. When I'm getting ready to turn it, to take it out, I'll come back and we'll see what it looks like together. Okay? All right, going in. Okay, my oven is beeping at me saying that 30 minutes have passed, so I think we're ready to grab that. All right, let me get my cooling rack. Always bring it to a cooling rack. Quiet. And here we go. Look at that. All right. So we want to make sure, you want to tap it. You're listening for that hollow sound, which I've got. All right. Let me closer. There we are. Thank you. And so, as you can see, beautiful color underneath. You tap it. Nice hollow sound. That means that she is done. So you could see, you know, we had cut it in fourths and it kind of just rose and they kind of came back together again, although you can't see where the slits are in that. Nice golden brown. All right, so I know, when are we going to cut into this? Well, I can tell you what I'm going to do. You can, and you really do want to serve this while it's still warm, but you don't want to cut into it right away. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the recording and give this, I'm going to say about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes to just kind of settle and cool. I'll come back, we'll cut into it. I already have my butter out to smear on it, because smearing is going to happen. Anyway, it smells great. All right, and look how quick. Under an hour, man. Start to finish. All right, so we'll be back in about 15 and we'll cut into this baby. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes since I took the Irish soda bread out of the oven. And so it's nice and rested. I can touch it without burning myself, but it's still plenty warm. All right, isn't that beautiful? Can you imagine? All right, so, you know, several things you could do. I mean, with the cutting, if you wanted, you could just rip off a section and then cut through it in order to have it. Yeah. So let's just take a look, all right? Look at that. How nice it comes through. See that steam still heading out of there? Look at that. Probably could have left it alone. You know, giving it a good half hour or so before cutting into it, but I was so excited, so let me get my knife. All right, and I'm gonna cut like a slice. Feel the crunch? So you could see, you know, there's nice holes in it, all right, from the rising, so that's good. It's soft, right, with a nice crusty outside, but the inside is soft, but it is dense, like I was saying. It is definitely dense. All right, and got my butter here. Now, this goes great with homemade butter, and I didn't know about this. Maybe I'm the last person to figure this out, but you can make your own butter at home if you have like a KitchenAid. Put 2 cups of heavy cream in the bowl, put the whisk on, turn it on. All right, walk away. First you'll get whipped cream, right? Kind of scrape down the sides a little bit, turn it back on, walk away, let it go. Every once in a while, come back, scrape the side down, but it doesn't take long, but all of a sudden you'll hear the sloshing sound. All right, and what's happened is all of a sudden you're going, you've got butter. You've got the solid, the butter, and you have the liquid, what they call buttermilk, although I'm told that's not buttermilk, not like what we used in here, but that's what they call it, but you can use it as a liquid in baking and stuff, I'm told. Anyway, and maybe I'll do a whole separate video on just that so you can see the whole making butter routine. But you can look it up on YouTube, you know, making butter with my KitchenAid. It's really simple. All right, so here we go. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, you're gonna love this, all right? Now, I have been told that real Irish soda bread has in it raisins and caraway seeds in there. I have not done that yet. Why? Because Batya gave me a look like this ain't happening, right? So what can I tell you? But for the most part, if you want to try that, just as you're mixing everything together with the buttermilk and the liquid and everything, you know, add your caraway seeds and your raisins. How much? I don't know. How much do you like raisins? How much do you like caraway seeds? You know, eyeball it. If after you make it and you like it, but you say, you know, I'd like more caraway or I'd like more raisin, well, next time you'll do that, right? Yeah. But just plain like this. Oh man. All right. I gotta go make dinner. I got a London broil on the grill that I gotta get back to. Yep. All right. So, Irish soda bread. Make it. Let me know what you think. All right, guys. Be safe. Stay healthy. Talk about my mouth full.